Hey everybody, welcome in here to Trending Politics Live. My name is Clayton Kearns, with you as always here on a Monday here at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today we have a very special guest. I want to make sure he can get on the video, okay? He's going to be coming on any second. But first I want to show you a couple clips and a few of the things he's doing, okay? Because you guys, a lot of people out there, they can talk a good game on Twitter. They can tweet out their latest hot take. They can make a tweet sound really good and get a bunch of tweets and a bunch of follows. But at the end of the day, what does that really do to help voters go to the polls, to help register people to vote for President Trump in 2020? Because we all know that Trump is gaining new voters. But if someone just likes a post on Facebook, that's not going to do anything when we actually go out there in early November. So I'm going to introduce you guys to Scott Presler in just a second. But first, I want to show you some of the work he's doing, because he has over 700,000 followers on Twitter. He is passionate about his support for President Trump and the policies and the good that President Trump has done in our country. Okay. And he is not only known for going around the country and doing trash pickups and really helping out with the community, but as I said a few minutes ago, for the work he does in the community to register new voters for Trump, because at the end of the day, that's what matters the most. So this here is from one of his crowds. He goes out in public and does this and registers new voters. Here's a little bit of a taste of what he does, and then I'm going to bring him on here.
You never saw this before. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Trump 2020!
All right, everyone. So with that said, I'm going to bring in Scott Presler. Scott, can you hear me okay?
I sure can. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you. Maybe just a little bit louder, but other than that, you're all good, man. How you doing?
Life is good. You know, the most important thing I have to say is that this hair is 100% real. No,
Okay, cool. I love it. Love the authenticity. So today, Scott, we're going to talk about a few different things. So first of all, I want to talk about your journey in becoming a Trump supporter, how that all happened, because I know I've been following you for years now, and in 2016 you were on the Trump train. You were going all in on him, and you were very, very vocal about being anti-Hillary, and that was just amazing for me to see. But you know, over the past couple years, you've gone again a step further, not just tweeting out hot takes, but going out in the community and getting groups together to pick up trash in the community. And furthermore, now that we're in this election year, you are going out to very specific parts of the country and helping to do the best part, which is to actually register voters and in these very crucial states. So can you first tell me about your journey to become a Trump supporter, and then how that all, then what you're doing right now in the community?
Certainly. Well, you know, I've always been conservative leaning. I was never a Democrat. But 2016, I knew was the most important election at that time of my lifetime. And the Supreme Court was at stake. So for me,
yes,
at first, it was never about President Trump. And I mean that with all due respect.
Of course.
For me, it was always about defeating Hillary Clinton. It was making sure she didn't get to replace Scalia's seat. It was making sure that she never sat in the Oval Office ever. It was always stop Hillary Clinton. And, you know, it's been kind of a change for me, because what started with stopping Hillary has become to promoting President Trump. This election now in 2020 is about the man that has been keeping his word, keeping his promises, doing everything since day 3 of becoming president. I remember him signing an executive order to stopping the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And I remember sitting at home thinking to myself, oh my gosh, he's keeping his promises to the American people.
Yes.
At first, it was about defeating the Democrats. Now it is about re-electing Donald Trump.
That is awesome. That is absolutely amazing, man. That's so good to hear. And also, you're very outspoken. So that first crowd that we showed, now, if I'm not mistaken, that was from Pennsylvania. Is that correct?
Yes, that was in Media, Pennsylvania, a suburb of Philly. And actually, I'm returning to Media, Pennsylvania this Saturday and Sunday. And that crowd was actually small. It's only because of that. So we are going to keep packing that office over and over.
That's amazing. So, saying that crowd is small, I'm actually about to play a clip, and I'm not sure how it's going to juxtapose with all three of the videos. Let's see how it turns out. I'm going to turn off these captions. This, I believe, is a crowd in California that I want to show. So, just to give everyone a glimpse of the kind of work that Scott does in registering new voters and rallying up the pro-Trump base. This is in California. Correct me if I'm wrong after the video is done playing.
1, 2, 3! Trump 2020!
That's awesome. So can you tell me about that event a little bit? How that all came about, and then was that registration? Was that a rally? Like what kind of event was that going on?
Shockingly, that was Sacramento, California.
Awesome.
We had hundreds of people in a warehouse. We were out there supporting Buzz Patterson, Republican running for Congress in California's 7th district, which is flippable from blue to red.
Yeah.
No, everything I'm doing is not by happenstance. I'm doing it strategically because I am here to win. Plain and simple. Not only to re-elect President Trump, but to flip the House from blue to red and to expand our majority in the Republican Senate. So Buzz Patterson was our congressional candidate that I was supporting. But, like you said earlier, I have all of these followers, and that's great. And I'm thankful. I'm so grateful. But at the end of the day, what does that mean? I don't want to come to a city and have people clap for me and tell me I'm great. That does nothing to win the election. I'm to teach voter registration to empower the grassroots so they can actually go out and create new voters and make sure that we win this November. So now we have hundreds of new volunteers in Sacramento, California, and many people have already written me and said, Scott, I'm going out into my community. I'm already registering voters. So boom, I've accomplished my mission.
That's amazing, because everybody has to understand that Scott can't do it on his own. Like, he's one person. He can't go. Now, again, like you said, you're being very strategic because you're not going to, to Washington, even though it's a great, beautiful state. At the end of the day, you're going to the states that are in play. I mean, even California with that seat was in play. But I mean, I just saw a tweet from you earlier today, maybe a couple hours ago, that you're going to be taking the entire month off of October and spending the entire month in Pennsylvania. Is that right?
Absolutely. I mean, I spent the last year and a half. I've already been to Reading, Pennsylvania, Philly, Pittsburgh, Butler, Allentown, Gettysburg. I'm going to Lancaster. And listen, you hear me loud and clear. We win Pennsylvania. Donald Trump is re-elected.
Yep. Absolutely. And so having said that, just so everyone understands just how tight of a race this was and why every vote matters. And again, I haven't done this before with a guest, so let me turn off the captions. But let's look at 2016. Okay, so it's going to cover Scott's face up. Okay, so for Scott, just for a minute, we're going to have to cover your face up just to show this because I don't know how to figure this out yet. So you guys take a look at the 2016 election results, okay, guys, in Pennsylvania. President Trump won by less than 50,000 votes. Okay, he won by a very 0.7% margin of error there. So every single vote in Pennsylvania matters. And if you can not only go yourself and do this, but also inspire a network of people to do these kind of things, it's absolutely going to make a huge difference. And again, it's because what needs to happen? Votes need to be in for Trump. How does that happen? People need to get registered. Can you first now go through with us some of the maybe challenges or roadblocks? Because I would imagine that there are some people out there who might think that they're registered or they're not, or they're at their current address, or maybe they moved. So can you tell us some of the roadblocks to that, and then how you kind of overcome those, and then more about how you register people to vote?
Here's a gigantic roadblock. So because of COVID, there is a gigantic backlog with offices to get driver's license. You cannot register online unless you have a driver's license with the state that you want to register in.
Got it.
That doesn't mean that you can't register to vote. It means that you need to mail in a form. So again, if you don't yet have a driver's license, don't freak out. find the voter registration application online, print it out, and mail it in to ensure that you'll be able to get registered to vote. And then I want you to make a appointment with your DMV to get your driver's license, unless you already have a passport or a military ID, because you have to have a government ID in order to vote. Now, every single person needs to check their voter registration status to make sure that you are an active voter at your current address. Remember, are you registered to vote at your current address? If you have moved from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, you need to register to vote at your current address, because otherwise you'll have to drive all the way from Pittsburgh back to Philly in order to vote. And that means franchise your vote. So what you do, so for example, let's say that you live in Pennsylvania and you want to check your status. Type into your internet, Pennsylvania, check voter status. Now, what you do is you're going to look for a website that either has gov, G-O-V, indicating government at the end of it, or you want to go that has S-O-S, which means Secretary of State. The of websites out there that have org are going to be Democrat controlled, in which case they are going to steal your information to try to get you to vote Democrat. So gov or SOS, Secretary of State. Okay, cool. And yeah, we're going to actually, after this interview, I'm going to go back and watch the replay and really put everything in writing that you're talking about, so people can also have and I know you have created a guide, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but that's very important. So another thing that you have to talk about is, of course, it's great to register the people who are on your site already, but also either the people who aren't registered to vote and are leaning, they're not really sure who to vote for. You say to talk to people who don't agree with you. What are some of those? How do some of those conversations look like? Number one, and number two, what are some examples of people who have maybe shown up to your voter registration powwows, if you will? And then how has that maybe either conversion process happened, or do you find that some people are really truly on the fence still? Can you just give me some examples of things you've gone through with that? Sure. Well, we need to be better articulators of our conservatives. So, for example, right now the media is being dominated by Black Lives Matter. I see that as an opportunity for Republicans. So, for example, I am a Republican who does believe that Black lives do in fact matter. And I think it's wrong that we have 0.6 million Black children living in poverty in America. Why does the Democrat Party choose illegal immigrants over Black lives? If Black lives matter so much, which they do, then why does the Democrat prioritize illegal immigrants first? Where are the sanctuary states for Black America? Why are sanctuary cities only given to illegal immigrants and not Black lives? I think the Republican Party needs to ask these questions and talk to the Black community and say, the Republican Party will build up Black-owned businesses, not tear them down. Yes. The Republican Party is doing prison reform to make sure that we give people a second chance at life. What has the Democrat Party done for prison reform? It is under a Republican president, President Donald Trump, that we have the First Step Act. We have to do a better job of reaching out our hand to the Black community and saying, I see you, I value you, I acknowledge you, I give you agency, I give you respect, I give you humanity, I give you dignity. It is up to us to be ambassadors for the GOP and for our president. And so I was doing a voter registration training in the city of Baltimore. Baltimore, a lot of people know me because I did the Baltimore cleanup 1 year ago. Yeah, remember that, A Black woman comes to our event, and I was talking about walking away from the Democrat Party, and she says, I'm a walk away. So, of course, I handed her that microphone immediately without skipping a beat. She's Democrat her entire life. She voted for Kerry. She voted for Gore. She voted for President Obama twice. She voted for Hillary Clinton. And this November in 2020, she is voting for President Donald Trump. Now, that is huge. It's massive. Because Democrat Black woman voting for Donald Trump in a city that historically has voted Democrat for the last couple decades, right? Massive. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because also, if you think about just the math of it all, not only is it taking a vote away, because I will say this, and I've told many of my guests this as well, is that at times, like, I think a vote to stay home for some people, because Trump has so much enthusiasm, and on the election day, I mean, the polls show that Trump's
voter base is way more enthusiastic than Joe Biden. I don't know if there's a true Joe Biden supporter out there. It's mostly anti-Trump, right? So in my personal opinion, I think a vote home helps Trump in a way, but still, I don't want anyone to stay home. And now, not only is this a vote taken away from the Democrats, but this is a vote to actually tally up another one on the side of President Trump. So actually, I do have that video. I have that very video that you were just talking about. So I hope the audio is good. If it's not, we can just summarize it again. But here's that video that you told me about that woman. Okay, I believe this is the one. Here we go.
You guys all agree with me. I'm preaching to the choir. We have to talk to people that don't agree with us. The independent voter, the soft Democrat voter, the Democrat that's saying, oh my gosh, the party has abandoned me. I don't understand this new radical extremist party. You were one?
Yes, I'm a walk away.
I'm a Trump voter.
Yes, I sent you a video, but I'm from Baltimore City, and I voted Democratic for 16 years. I'm almost 38. So ever since I was 18, I voted for Gore, I voted for Perry, I voted for Gore, I voted for Kerry, I voted for Obama twice. I even voted for Hillary Clinton. But about 2 years ago, I took what was called the red pill. So I took the red pill, and I thank God for Candace Owens and Kanye West. I was like, I can no longer be a Democrat. And for the first time in 2018, I voted a straight Republican.
Very, very, very well done. See, that right there is encouraging. And, she said something very interesting. She said, I want to thank Candace Owens and Kanye West. Think about the power of seeing Kanye West. Now he's like, running. I don't even know what he's doing anymore. But the very fact you had the liberal media just pushing this lie down people's throats that Trump does not like black people, that he's a white supremacist, all these terrible, disgusting lies about him. And then he sits down and has a great conversation with not only Kanye West, but then Kim Kardashian was involved in some prison reform, and people see that. And two things happen, in my opinion, is number one, they see, wait a minute. He's clearly not a white supremacist. When's the last time a white supremacist had funding for HBCUs? And when's the last time a white supremacist would sit down with a black man in the Oval Office and talk to him about these issues? But second of all, what it also does to the voters is it says, wait a minute, these people lied to me. The media lied to me. So their trust in the media diminishes. And then they probably think, and I know that this will happen with Brandon Straka as well. He said, wait a minute, you guys just lied to me about Trump. So what else did you lie about? And I interviewed Brandon last year, and he was exactly saying that. He's like, then I started seeing the light. And so when people open up their eyes, that's when powerful things happen. So that's the woman you were talking about, right? That's the right video?
Yes, the audio wasn't good on my end, but yes.
Oh, okay.
Baltimore City, Maryland.
That is awesome. Cool. So great. That is amazing. And so, okay, so you went over the obstacles that come by. Are there any other obstacles? So you talked about not being registered at your home address because you might have to drive across town or to an entire another city. You talked about people just not being registered at all, thinking that they are, and then you talked about going to the DMV, making that registration. Is there a comprehensive place where people can go to see all these cut out? Because you mentioned that some people might need to mail something in order to get something back. Is there a place where people can go to see the deadlines about when to mail things in, how to do that?
Traditionally, the cutoff date for voter registration is 30 days prior to Election Day. Now,
okay.
We live in a constitution where there is no voting put into our constitution, which means that all 50 states each have 50 different sets of rules. So really, you need to go to your Secretary of State website and find out what the cutout date is for every single state where you live. It's going to differ. And I know in Wisconsin, I believe you can register to vote on Election Day at your polling location, but you can't do that in other states. So really, go to your Secretary of State website to find out what the cutoff date is for the state that you live in. And I'm asking everybody take off work on election day. I don't care what you're doing, unless you're the man or woman with the nuclear codes, take off on election day to become an election day worker. Because it's not who votes who wins, it's who counts the votes that wins. And we need to make sure that Democrats are not the only eyes and ears in polling locations. I'm also asking people to please vote in person at their polling locations.
Okay. And what is the reason? I mean, it's kind of odd, but what is the reasoning behind that for people who may not understand, or what's the reason for that?
I believe the best, most democratic way that we can ensure a fair election is to vote in person.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
The United States tweet out a video that showed several people mailing out, I believe in Pennsylvania, it was to using the USPS system. And some of those votes weren't returned. And even if it's 3%, 2%, 1%, that can swing an election. Ensure that your vote is counted and vote in person.
We just saw that with the numbers that we put up, right? Pennsylvania was 0.7% of a difference between the two candidates. I mean, if people me personally, I like going in and physically filling out that ballot. I do not like, and I like putting in the box. I do not like the idea that I'm going to trust the post office in order to get this right. Like, this is way too important to screw up. It's way too important to screw up. So I'm going to show one last video of a man who was actually from Bangladesh. Yeah. Who this is a very another huge deal, because a lot of people say, "Oh, immigrants don't like Trump." That could not be farther from the truth. I actually know two people who just became citizens who, again, just like this man, were not able to vote in 2016, and now they're going to vote. But not are they going to vote, but they're going to vote for President Donald J. Trump. So this man is from Bangladesh, and you had a really cool interaction with him. So that'll be the last video we play, and then we'll wrap up here, and we'll tell people how to follow you and how to follow your journey more. So here we go.
Hey everybody, this is Scott Presler, an MD. Now look at his shirt, it says Bangladesh for Trump. And you know what, in the 2016 election, he wasn't yet a citizen and he wasn't registered to vote. But I'm here to tell you that today he stands before me as a +1 in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for Donald Trump!
Trump 2020.
All right, Trump 2020. So and you guys, that's the thing, it all happens one at a time, Ideally, we would love it if we could just send 50,000 people to register to vote, and suddenly that would do it. But it's all about that one at a time, right, Scott? Is that what you experience? Little by little, it adds up over time.
How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. But no, I want to do something else that's really important. Not only did I meet with him, and I'm returning to Media, Pennsylvania, where he lives, and I'll be meeting with him again. He's already had a voter registration party in the Bangladesh community.
Wow.
Reaching out to the Persian Jewish community in Los Angeles, who is very, very conservative. And I've been invited by an elder in the Amish community of Pennsylvania. And I will be in the Amish community. And this certain community has actually voted Democratic in the past. So just know, we are hunting every single vote.
All right, absolutely. Well, I love that passion there. So everybody, as I have up here on the screen here, scottpresler.org is where you can learn more. He is Scott Presler with one S on Twitter. And I will tell you this, you guys. I followed him for years, okay? And he is the most humble guy that I ever know. And we talked on the phone, and he said, I don't solicit donations, and he doesn't. But that doesn't mean that I can't talk about him, okay? I hunted him down to get on this interview because I believe so much in his mission, guys. If any of you are feeling generous, you got to understand, he's going to be taking off the entire month of October. And I learned about that. I said, okay, this guy is going to need some help. So if anybody has it in their heart to give to Scott, right there, scottpresler.org, donate now, or Scott Presler, he's got the links on the website. But I know that every little bit see, guys, this here is the stuff that matters. Not only registering new voters, but registering voters. A woman who had voted Democrat her entire life and now is voting for Trump. A man from Bangladesh who had never voted before. He was not even able to vote. Not only is he not voting for sleepy old Joe Biden, but he's voting for President Trump in 2020. That's a swing vote. And more importantly, that is in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Ohio, Michigan. These states, you guys, are crucial. Remember, the Democrats thought that they were going to win all four of those. Hillary said, forget Wisconsin. I don't need to visit Wisconsin. And President Trump said, no, it's going to happen. So it looks like we may have lost Scott for a second. That's okay, though. But everybody, so if you guys have it in you and you want to help Scott on this journey, because again, guys, he is one person. He's one person. Then go to his website and feel free to donate there. He will be gladly appreciate that. Remember, you guys, he doesn't even solicit donations. He almost didn't want me to talk about it, but that's the kind of guy he is. That's how humble he is. So looks like we may have cut out here for a second, but it's okay. So we'll wait here another minute or so. If he is able to jump back on, you guys, does anybody have any questions for Scott? Maybe if he's able to jump back on, he's probably going to jump back in on the link, you guys. But does anyone have any questions for Scott? If not, we'll probably just, have it for the day. Here we go. I believe he's back on. There you go, Scott. You back with us?
Yes, sorry, somebody was blowing up my phone. My apologies.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we're about to finish up here, you guys. So, okay, but hey, everyone, so that's what I have to say here, Scott. Man, I cannot appreciate the time that you were able to spend here with us. I know that you're very busy. You're going all over. So where are you going this week, just to remind us?
Yes, I'm going to Phoenix, Arizona. I will be in Tempe on August 6th, and you can find out more by sliding into my DMs on Twitter. Then I'm going to Media, Pennsylvania. Then I'm going to Allentown, Pennsylvania, Loudoun, Virginia, Modesto, California, Dallas, Texas, Constant.
All right. He's always moving, everyone. So, guys, please, please, please follow his journey right there on Twitter, okay? Scott Presler with one S on Twitter. He is moving and shaking. He's registering new voters. He needs more help, though, everyone. So as you said, to send you a direct message, and you've actually put together a PDF, it's kind of like a presentation, if you will, to help people register to vote, right? Can you tell us just a quick second about that?
Yes. So it's not important just to have yourself register to vote. Now you need to go out there and empower other people with the ability. I've created a Google document that I can send you that teaches you, whether in California, Hawaii, Texas, Michigan, whatever state you live in, it will teach you how to register new voters.
Yes. Okay, great. Amazing, man. Amazing. So people are going to go to your DMs right there on Twitter. Like I said, guys, go to scottpresler.org if you want to help him in his journey. He's putting everything aside to help reelect President Trump. So guys, let's join him on his journey wherever we can. Scott, man, I really, really appreciate you jumping on, and we'll be talking to you soon. I definitely want to get you back on here. It's only August 3rd. There's plenty of time to keep getting the message out. So I'd like to keep talking to you at least once a month here on these live streams. We got a lot of people on from all our different areas. We're streaming to several different places at once. So I want to thank you for that, man. You have a really good rest of your day, okay?
Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Okay, and everyone, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to be back.